Welcome back, everybody, to part two. I wasn't even recording and I was just talking away. So, we're back, and I'm talking about the Bible, part two, and really understanding, is this book even for you? Was it really written for you to read, for you to follow in your life? And I really want you to question that, because the more that you deep dive, you realize this book was never for you, right? It's a programming, and especially programming for people of color, for people that are black, and who were never at that time when this came about in a position of ruling in the way they were ruling. Now, there were the Moors, there's other beings later on, but when this came about, this Bible came about during the time of Constantine's ruling. And Constantine wanted a book that would be the creed, the law of the land that people would follow. Because during his time, there were a lot of artists that were commissioned to create the paintings, the stories that you would see today of, the crucifixion of Christ, or the picture of the Virgin Mary and the child and so forth. These were in paintings. These were how they would tell the stories. When they would go to mass or to whatever synagogue or whatever at that time, and they would look at these paintings as it was being spoken. And still there was restlessness in his country, and he was like, there has to be one book which will give them fear so that they will follow order. And he commissioned a huge team. This team were made up of scholars, priests, different walks of life, meaning they were of high status with certain exemplary type of knowledge. And many of them, majority of them, were of Jewish groups, Hebrews, ones of the Islamic faith, and they created a huge team that were sent out to find scrolls, scripts, manuscripts, things of that nature. And this took a while, but it came together to formulate what you have today. And a lot of books were taken out once everything was gathered, written, put together. Many of the books, where we would say the apocryphy books, were taken out. And you have what you had first was the Old Testament King James Version. That was mostly popular until they decided to bring in the New Testament. So you have the Old Testament and New Testament in one book. Now, so this is why at that time they wanted to put this together. So the first main books tells you who's the main writers, the main direction of the Bible, and this is coming from the Torah. The Torah, again, is the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. And this tells you who led this, like the purpose of this, right? And you have to look at that. You have to ask yourself, am I of the Jewish faith? Is that even me? Was I born into that? Am I a part of that system? Is that a part of my bloodline? Is that, is that my God? And as you read further through the Bible and you study it, you realize there's several gods in there. It's not just one. It's several beings who want to be worshipped as a god. So I'm giving you a bit of a background, and I want you to, anything I'm talking about, I want you to go dive deeper. You have to dive deeper. I don't want you to be lost and confused. This is serious layers of programming that has been going on for centuries. And you got to start unraveling this. And it may be painful, may be hurtful, may be disturbing, but you got to go in there in order for you to clear out onto the other side of your own pure source light and your divinity, okay? And so that you take off this huge package that's been weighted on you since the time you've been entered through. This is programming. And what I'm talking about, a lot of people don't want me to talk about, that you gotta wake up. You have to start digging, and you gotta dig deep, okay? So let's get into Genesis. So of the etymology, of mankind. I really want to, because mankind is not everybody. So we're going to look at the etymology of this. Mankind is a noun. Mankind. This was early 13th century, okay, which is considered the human race. That means it's a collective, humans collectively, okay, from man, the noun, and kind, the noun. Also used occasionally in Middle English, at the time, Middle Earth, for male persons only. And that was around late 14th century. But otherwise preserving the original gender neutrality of man, okay? Also derivatives of menfolk, the masculine division of humanity, the male sex, okay? Women were not included at any of this time frame. You're not, and a woman's not considered mankind, okay? So when you get into 1590s or so, womankind started to come into play, and it represented in Middle English by wifkin, okay, coming from the word wife in the old sense, a woman. All right, so Old English wifsin was also used. So mankind as quote unquote the human race displaced earlier mankin from Old English mansin, which survived into the 14th century, then it changed. So it also comes into philanthropy, love of humankind, that came into play. You get into mankind from gods, men, or things. So kind is class. So the type of class, sort, variety, okay? So mankind is a variety of men, a different species of men, okay? Different natures, different races of men, different families, and so forth and so forth, okay? So you're looking really deeply into this. So the book of Genesis, the rendition, which is the Alfred's rendition of the book of Genesis into the Old English, came out of Jesindbach. The prefix disappeared in 1150 to 1250. So kind also comes such as the Goth or High German Kand, and so forth, okay? So it also includes character, quality derived from birth, or manner or way natural or proper to anyone. Like, it really goes into this, and I haven't even gotten into the point of man, but I'm going to continue so that you guys will look into this more. But mankind, so we can understand what we're looking at in Genesis, is a species of men, okay? We're not even looking at women at the moment. We're looking at men. Species of men, okay? That is the beginning in Genesis, first and foremost, okay? Women didn't come into play yet. So let's continue, and then we're going to get back into Genesis so we can really break this down if this really is for you.